I'm going to cut across immediately to my colleague Geeta Mohan, our Foreign Affairs editor, to expand in context because, Geeta, right now, we're at the precipice of the cusp where it's very easy and we are compelled to take sides and take stands. And social media is flush with hashtag I stand with Palestine, hashtag I stand with Israel. And one really doesn't blame most people because the kind of visuals that we are seeing are horrific. But for the benefit of our viewers, if we can track back where the seeds of the current conflict have been sown through history, would you give us more perspective on that?
Well, Preeti, the fact that we've seen a Hamas attack and nobody can condone a terror attack or an attack of such magnitude where scores of people have died and so many remain injured in hospitals. But the fact is that there is a backstory. There were about 270 deaths in West Bank alone in the past 2 months. What was the international outrage or coverage on the issue? We have seen in the past year and a half or two, for that matter, an increased aggression from the Israeli side when it comes to Palestine and Palestinian territories. We've seen the pushing of Palestinians into corners in West Bank and in Gaza. Again, nobody's condoning a terror attack. Hamas has taken a very extreme step, but we've seen under the Netanyahu administration with Ben Gvir as the national security minister, how the landscape, the political landscape of Israel and Palestine changing. Al-Aqsa Mosque being breached, never seen before, forces entering. The fact that refugee camps have been bombed and raided time and again in the recent past. The Sheikh Jarrah locality where Palestinians were being displaced. If you look at the map from 1948, when Israel was created,
we're going to play that map out. Just 1 second, Geeta. We're going to play that map out, and maybe our viewers would also get a bit of context with what we're just playing. Go ahead, Geeta.
Right. If you look at the map of Israel from the time of its creation in 1948, and if you look at the past map even before 1948. Right now what we're showing you is a map of the
No, we'll play the shrinking territory of Palestine. We'll just tell our producers.
Yes,
there you
so
go.
That's the map. So if you look at the 1917 is, up until 1947 is how that map looked. That was Palestine for you. And then in 1948 when Israel was created, you have Israel in green and you have Palestine in yellow, which included West Bank, the old city of East Jerusalem, as also Gaza, which is the tiny corner on the left end. And then you have the situation today where you have West Bank as that yellow patch on the right and Gaza as the small strip, that's called the Gaza Strip, to the left of the map. And this is not just the current map. If you look at the current territory, the West Bank also is a little more in scatter, Preeti, because we've seen the announcement of Jerusalem as the capital city. There are a lot of settlers who've moved into territories which were erstwhile Palestine. So there is a huge problem in how the Netanyahu administration was dealing with Palestine. Ben Gvir, the far right coming into power, and how they were dealing with Palestine. The Palestinians were losing patience, being bombed and raided, the killings, without any outrage. All the conversations were confined to the United Nations and maybe the United Nations Secretary General asking for or condemning the attacks. The others condemned, but there was no clear outrage the way we are seeing today, which is called for. We're not saying this is not called for, but we're just saying that it would have been great if people would have really focused and noticed what was happening in Gaza. We know that the Israelis say that they are handling the territories by themselves and that Israel no longer has control over these areas. But look at Gaza. Today they've shut the borders. Electricity flows in from Israel, food, water. Today, as a retribution, as punishment, borders have been shut, food, water, electricity has been shut in a strip which houses 2.2 million people in an area that's just about 365 kilometers, square kilometers in geographical space. It is the most densely populated area on the planet. And many, including David Cameron, former Prime Minister of the UK, have actually called it the world's largest open prison.